Hey my loves, it's your girl Miss Melody XOXO here. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. I am so excited. This is episode 4 of the Miss Melody XOXO talk show. Thank you guys so much for so much love on the first 3 episodes. This episode right here is just so special to me because we have an interview coming up. I'm waiting for our special guests to come on in the room. And as soon as they come on the room, we will get started. We'll get started as soon as they come in the room. I tell you what, let me send send this to make sure. To make sure. Okay. So I sent that. But I'm so excited. I just want to say, this is a dream of mine, my own show. And sometimes when you're not given opportunities and nobody wants to even work with you and not be for other reasons and reasons they don't even know you, you have to take things into your own hands and create your own lane. And that's what I'm doing with my show. I'm so excited. Just so excited about it. And hold on one second. We'll be coming into the room very shortly. Oh my God! Oh my God!
Hi.
Oh my God, I am so happy. You're the first guest on the Miss Melody XOXO talk show. I am so excited. First of all, but before I would get my fandom on, why don't you introduce yourself to somebody who might not know who you are?
Wait, I'm the first one?
Yes, you're the first guest. We just started on
my goodness. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Well, hello, everyone. I am B-Hawk Snipes. My pronouns are they, them, and sometimes she, her, if you're feeling cunt about the situation, okay? I'm from the Bronx, New York. I'm coming at you live from the Bronx, New York. I'm a social activist, style icon, and entertainer. I've done a couple of things, here and there, but, the rest you can just Google. You know what I'm saying?
Just Google me. Just Google me.
And then you'll figure a whole bunch of new gems that you didn't know about me, and you might be surprised. You never know.
I want to ask a question now. We know that, especially in the LGBT plus community, people are now, there are so many different pronouns, so many different labels, so many ways that people identify as. But I'm noticing there is a trend of more people becoming non-binary and showing themselves. What do you think really, equates to that?
Well, the thing about it is non-binary and gender non-conforming people have always been here. Mm-hmm. We've always been here. Mm-hmm. I am non-binary, and gender non-conforming and non-binary, they're pretty much the same. Just a different title, just to let some of y'all know. The more you know. And yeah, we've always been here. We fall right under the trans umbrella for some people who don't know. So yeah, we're just a part of the trans family, and we don't identify as male or female. We kind of just float, right in the middle of the dimension of the trans umbrella. And that's cool. Some of us are more femme than others. Some non-binary people are more masculine, or attach themselves to a more masculine energy, visually, aesthetically, whatever that may be. I identify as like a non-binary trans femme, if you will. I always like to put that that trans femme in there, because when I think of femininity, I think of power. It took me a minute to realize that, but I'm here, so boom.
Wow, and you are definitely, because when I follow you on social media, I see the looks she be giving. And B-Hawks be giving looks for days. You be giving looks. Who are some of the people that inspired you for us, like fashion or even makeup or anything like that?
Wow. I mean, growing up, I looked at people like RuPaul. RuPaul was, he may be a little controversial at times in the past, but I think he's learning. He's getting there. But I think RuPaul definitely, he was like 6'3", 6'4", in a stiletto pump giving glamazon. I was like, oh my goodness, I can look at the television, see myself in a way. You know, like Boy George, George Michael. Who else? There were so many people. I mean, like Destiny Child. I'm a huge Destiny Child fan, so I love the late '90s. I love the 2000s. That's when music and fashion was like popping or whatever. And yeah, there's so many people I can name. Like I was a TV person. Like I sat in front of the television watching TRL like every day, and was like, that is my aesthetic. I love it so much. And I think as I grew up, I kind of just took those pieces and kind of just wanted to make them my own. I think right now I'm in this like very black white aesthetic, very like mod-esque, and I'm kind of feeling it. I'm kind of feeling with like little pops of color. You know, you got to add a little pizzazz in there.
Little pizzazz.
Right. And yeah, when it comes to makeup, I love being a creative. I love being a visual person. Today my makeup is just giving like casual and kind. You know what I'm saying? Because
it's given.
You gotta let the makeup build on New Year's Eve. So that's what I'm giving today.
I love it. I love it. Love it. You also, if correct me if I'm not mistaken, you used to do some work on Pose.
Yes.
Can you talk to me about the experience? Because I was a huge fan of Pose. Mostly, I'm so ready. Corona messed up my third season, but it's hopefully coming. Talk to me about that experience and what that meant to you.
I mean, Pose is everything. Pose is everything. It introduced me because I was always very like ballroom adjacent, and it made me look at the ballroom scene in a totally different way. It made me realize that they are truly about family, and sometimes family has their arguments and they have their disagreements, but they usually always come back because it's all about the love. And when I was on set, I saw that. Because growing up in New York, I just thought, the ballroom scene was messy. There was always fighting. There was always drama. And once I got on set, I was like, no, like, this is beautiful. Like, they really protect each other. And it's so, so beautiful. And it doesn't matter sometimes whatever house you're in. I think the ballroom community is so tight because they know how it feels to struggle. They know how it feels to not be seen, not be wanted, to just be thrown out from their families, from their blood families, and now have this chosen family that they can build from. And to be a part of that scene and also be on a television show that centers Black trans women and femmes and queer Black men is just it's so crazy. It was the first time I've ever been on the set when I saw people that looked like me in front of the camera and behind the camera. It was a lot. It was a lot at first, but I've been on season 1 and season 2, so I'm hoping that little baby B Pendavis comes back for a season 3. So I joined the Pendavis family on Pose season 2 at the finale. So I'm hoping we get back to those ballroom scenes for Pose. Because of COVID, things have been a mess, and they can't have too many people together in one space. So we'll see what happens. I don't know, but I'm keeping my fingers crossed. 3 is my magic number, so we'll see what happens.
I absolutely love that. You heard when you talk about Pose, you talked about family. So I want to segue to something. We know this year that Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union were so supportive of Zaya Wade. Talk to the people out there of why it's so important, whether their child be gay, trans, non-binary, or whatever. Why is it so important that they have that support system?
I mean, it's everything. And I think we go back to it starts at home. It's learning how to love on yourself and building up, getting those tools to figure out how to love on yourself starts at home. It doesn't start at school. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't start in the streets. It starts at home. So having that foundation from your parents that gave birth to you, it's everything. It means everything. Having your parents teach you the ways to love on yourself, so you can love and respect others in the same way. Everything. So it's beautiful to see that we're now. I mean, from time to time we've seen different celebrities kind of love on their queer or trans children. but it's beautiful to see such a strong Black, brown,
Yes.
okay,
Yes. 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 Yes.
brown, Miss Melody, family
Meddling. Meddling.
love on their brown Black
Mm-hmm.
child that is
Yes.
trans. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, it blows my mind, and it gives me hope. It gives me hope. We've been going through such tough times these past few years, and especially in 2020. So to see that, Zaya is just living her best femme life and doing cartwheels and flips and in the grass, honey.
Yes. Yes.
Yes,
Yes. I love it.
we really truly believe. I think that the children are going to be all right. I think the children are going to be all right. Honestly, I think they're going to go through things just like everyone else. But I think the future is hopeful.
Yes, that is so, so true. We talked about how this has been a rough year. We know that this year is going to go on record as the most deadliest year for trans people and gender nonconforming people. And what blows my mind so much is that when I'm talking to certain people and I tell them that this is the most deadliest year, there are so many people who still don't know.
Yeah.
And it just blows my mind. Like how do you feel there are ways that we can help to try to, combat that issue?
Speaking up.
Definitely.
Using your voice, and using any sort of tool that you feel can be in a form of protest to white supremacy, because that's where it all stems from. Transphobia, hate, that all stems from white supremacy. And I think if we continue as Black people to murder each other, so that's to all the Black men out there, cis Black men. If we continue to murder other Black people, Black being first,
yes,
that means you fall in line with white supremacy. That means you're on the wrong side, baby. You can't say Black Lives Matter when you're out here murdering and putting down Black trans women, Black trans men, Black, queer trans folk under the umbrella. Like, we have to understand that all Black lives matter. And we're never going to be a united front. We're never going to be as strong as we can be, fight white supremacy, if we keep murdering and killing each other. It's just not going to work. It's not going to work.
Yeah, that is so, so, so real. And those are gems that are just, oh my God, beautiful, because I am just tired of seeing my gender nonconforming, my Black trans women. And even this year, we've actually lost some Black trans men. It's like, even the year before, it was just like, okay, it was majority Black trans. It's like now it's just, oh my God. It gets to where now it hurts me to even post when one of my brothers and sisters gone. It hurts me. And I'm just hoping that we can get to a point where that's better, where it can be just better now. Whew, it just blows my mind sometimes.
Yeah. I think, and then shout out to, my girl Christington. Cis people need to do the work. They need, I think people need to understand, what are your privileges in this world? What privileges do you have that then you can help out other or less marginalized people? And cis people, you have the privilege to kind of walk through life in a way that trans people can't. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have that privilege. So what you need to be doing is protecting Black trans bodies. You need to step up. If you see something, say something. If you can, or if you're able to physically step in and protect a Black trans life, then you need to do so. There's no more excuses here. We now have the tools to do so, and I think it's just super duper important. And I think, the reason why we're on live today instead of yesterday was because, just to make this a short story, is because,
Take your time. This is you. Take your time. Take your time.
But we're still going through, like I was on my way on the train, trigger warning to everyone watching. I was on my way to go grocery shop. Basic thing, I had on like black harem sweatpants and a hoodie and my jacket, mask, covered up. The hair was out because, the bundles. But I was on the train minding my business, my Black trans business. And this, shorter black man from across from me, he's sitting down. He asked me, "Hey, what's the time?" And you know, I didn't hear him at first. So then he gets louder, and I'm just like, "Oh, okay." You know, me being a nice person, I'm like, "Oh, the time is, you know, 1. I think it was 1 o'clock." And then he proceeds to whisper and call me over, and I'm just like, "I'm good. I'm good." So it should have ended there, you know. But he continued to get aggressive. He continues to say, "Hey, sit down next to me. I want to talk to you." I said no. So I'm getting off in the next stop, and I look back, and he's following me. Follows me all the way outside of the train station. And by this time, I'm like, okay, get the mace ready because it might go down. And as soon as I get outside and I see that he's getting closer, I pull out my pepper spray. And it's like a pepper gel spray, so it hits a little bit harder than the regular spray that sprays all over the place. But it was scary. It was scary because we're living in times where, you know, like black trans people have always been murdered. You know what I'm saying? We've always been, you know, killed and murdered. I think now this year it's becoming a little bit more real because now we can, because of social media, we can figure out names and, you know, different forms of documentation and things of that nature. And now the numbers are in our faces. You know what I'm saying? They're not invisible anymore. The numbers are hitting our faces. And these are just documented names that we know of. There's so many others that we don't know of. So I think it's now become a little bit more intense. But creeper creeps have been all around. I've been dealing with this in New York since I was in my teens, getting on a train and having, you know, men grope themselves or touch themselves in front of me, or, you know, pull up their genitalia literally on an A train. You know what I'm saying? Go in on Nostrand Avenue. Like, come on. Like in Brooklyn. So it's not new to me, but it's just disgusting, and it's terrifying mentally, and it's draining mentally, and it's draining physically to not feel that you can't get on train a few stops to go grocery shopping. I can't even use my unlimited Metro card to, you know, that I paid a lot of money for to go grocery shopping. I have to now get in a $40 Uber, a $40 Lyft, or get in a taxi to get home safely or to go to my destination. Who's paying for that? We're in the middle of a pandemic. Why are you being a creep?
Exactly.
So it's just sad to see that we're living in these times still, and it's really, really heartbreaking. But we just have to be protected. We have to stay armed at all times. Like, I'm not a gun girl. That's not my ministry. But listen, if you are, if you're in a, you know, a state that you can carry, even if you're not in the state that can carry at this point, it's like, listen, it is what it is. But if you're that person that can carry, if you can carry pepper spray, if you can do all these things and arm yourself, you have to do it. You have to do it because that's where we are right now, unfortunately. We're in the middle of a race war. We're in the middle of this transphobic shit, and it's draining. And it's like, people just be like, well, why don't you just wear this, or why don't you wear that? If I'm going out by being me. Being 100%.
Why should you have to? Why should you have to be something else other than you?
Right. Why should I have to go out and, you know, not have my hair braided in the color that I choose to because a black cis man or a black man, a black cis man or a cis man in general can't control themselves. You know, they can't control themselves. And it's not even just black cis men. It's, you know, white cis men, you know, they be added to Mexican
Latinos,
the Hasidic Jews. We see you. We see you. And so it's disheartening. I think people just need to just do better, and people need to start being more aware of what's going on in their surroundings. It's unfortunate, but this is what we have to do.
You have to. And I thank you so much for telling my audience about protecting themselves, because as I said in the video a few times, is that I'm not a violent person at all.
Right.
But it's either you or me. And I love me too much. I'm sorry. I just love me too much. I'm sorry. So you or me, and in my sense, it's gonna be me. I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
So definitely that is just something that I want all my people to know. You have a show out called The Word. I understand.
Yes.
Yes, and I was watching a couple episodes the other night. Talk to me about that show. How did you come up with the idea and the concept of that?
Whew. Okay. Um,
Mhm.
and shout out to the Black Trans Travel Fund, and the Okra
Mhm.
Project, and the BTFA Collective, and so many other, Black trans organizations that are helping, or for the
Mhm.
girls. So
Mhm.
many Black trans organizations that are helping us get to our destination safely,
Yes.
that
Yes.
are feeding us, that are
Mhm.
helping, that are housing us.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
such a beautiful thing. I think 2020 really
It
kind of
did.
we got each other. We all we
Exactly.
got at the end of the day. Like, shout out to community. Shout out to
Mhm.
community, because when I told people what I went through yesterday, they were there, and I would love to see, especially more cis people, more Black cis people,
Mhm.
um, be very wary of what's going on and not act like this is a kiki session. It's like, no,
Oh.
this is a serious thing. Like, people are really dying out here. So when I tell you this
Mhm.
is happening, this is like, no, I could be next. Like,
Mhm.
this is a real thing. This is not
I
like
could,
a show.
I could mix. You never
Any
know.
any one of us, any one
Mhm.
of us, and we don't want to see that. People don't want to see that happen, but this is the
Mhm.
reality, and they need to be aware of that.
Mhm.
Um, but skirt to the word. Um, so the word was actually started. Shout out to Jewel the Gem. I know she popped in here for a little bit. I do the show The Word with Jewel the Gem every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Today we're doing it at 5 today,
Mhm.
because New Year's Eve, we got busy things. So,
Yeah, you do.
um, but it all started because Jewel and I dated the same person at the same time, and it
Mhm.
was really, really messy.
Mhm.
And I had to take accountability when we ran into each other in the same place,
Mhm.
and it was a little awkward. I'm not gonna lie. It was a little
Mhm.
awkward, and she came in and she was just like very Brooklyn about it. She's from East New York. She was just like, "I heard you was talking about me," and I was like, I was, and very, very Brooklyn, the Bronx. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
The boy is mine. Thank you, Joel. Yes.
Yeah.
So we got together and we spoke about it, and we did some healing, and we just got on live one day and wanted to talk and chit chat. And I wasn't talking to the person that we were both dating was an abuser.
Mhm.
Um, and he mentally abused me and emotionally abused me and physically abused her. And
Mhm.
so we decided to come together and just talk about it as two Black, queer femmes, and be a united front and turn lemons into lemonade.
Ah.
And it was just such a beautiful moment to kind of just be on that live with her. And I
Mhm.
felt like it felt like home. It felt good
Mhm.
to kind of just hash it out and talk it out. And we literally, like, we had on live, and it was like 3 people watching us, and we were just
Mhm.
talking our shit and having a good old time. And she was like, "We should do this more." And I was like, "Yeah, we should do this more." I was like, "You want to have a part 2 next week?" And she was like, "Yeah, let's do it." So I was like, "You know what? We're gonna call this The Word, and we're gonna do it." And we literally, like, we're now in season 2, which is so
Mhm.
crazy. It started in March. We started in March, I believe,
Mhm.
March or April, and now we're on
Mhm.
season 2, and we're gonna most likely do a season 3 next year. So
Mhm.
it's just been so exciting. We talk about everything because we're so different. I think we have to, as Black people, as Black queer and trans people,
Mhm. Mhm.
we're not all the same. We're gonna have
Oh,
different
yes.
ideas and different
Mhm.
beliefs and things,
Mhm.
but it's
Mhm.
amazing to come together and
Mhm.
have conversation, have open dialogue. Like, I'm a Democrat.
Mhm.
I just voted in the last election, but she's an abolitionist and she didn't, and that's
Mhm.
her choice. And I respect
Mhm.
her, because at the end of the day, it's all about love, and it's all
Yeah.
about listening and
Yeah.
hearing each other, no matter what the disagreements may be.
Mhm.
So I love our conversations. We talk about dating, we talk about sex, we talk about food, we talk about politics, and it's so much fun. And I'm obsessed with Jewel the Gem. She is such an
Oh.
amazing queen that
Mhm.
fights so hard as a cis
Mhm.
Black woman, queer woman.
Mhm.
She fights so hard for Black
Mhm.
trans lives, and I appreciate her for doing that, because sometimes I be so numb to the shit,
Mhm.
and she reminds me how amazing we are, how beautiful we are, how special we are. And she knows as a cis Black woman, that's her privilege. You know what I'm saying? To stand in that and say, you know what, I'm going to use whatever power I have to heal the less, you know, people who are marginalized and who are not being seen and who are not being heard. So shout out to you, Jewel. I'll see you at 5 o'clock, girl.
And shout out to you too, because anybody who knows watching my platform know how I feel about Black women. Because my mom was a Black woman, also because of the fact that when I say Black women have held Miss Melly down, they've held me down. Even sometimes when I've had to fight for my community and not got the best support in my community, Black women still held me down. So shout out to all the Black cisgender women who are allies. I love you from the bottom of my heart.
We love them. And I think, I think it's, it's important. I think this year was all about accountability and having those open discussions and conversations. Black women aren't always going to be right, but that's okay. As long as you can learn and progress, I think we have to be more open-minded, just so we can be more accepting into different forms of what Blackness looks like. And I think it's just it's so important and it's so necessary to just know the facts and know the history of where we were and where we're going. I think that's just so important. So, I hold everyone accountable for their bullshit. Like, don't get crazy. Okay, Tiffany Pollard, I see you, Azealia Banks. And I would love to have a conversation with them. Like, what's the tea? Are you doing this for show? Yes. Are you doing this for entertainment? Because it seems like it is, and I just want you to know that it's not okay. Especially because Black trans and Black queer people have put you on a stage where you can't have a voice.
Speak.
So for you to belittle us, for you to disrespect us in that way, I find it very disgusting.
And for me, I was just so in shock because of the fact that, just like you say, her fan base is so much of the community. And just the fact that she would say that, knowing the trans and gender nonconforming lives that have been lost. And I was like, whoa, really?
Absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
And
then on top of that, for them to be two brown women.
Thank you.
Brown women, they already know what the struggle is like.
Exactly.
They already know what it's like to be seen as the villain, the bad person, the bad, it's just like, you can do so much better. You can do so much better. You don't have to drag us through the gutter in order for you to rise up. Just because we're saying your name, and we're not even saying your name in a way that's positive, your name is just always going to be trash. Until you take accountability for your actions, until you, because I'm hopeful. I believe in that you can develop and change and grow. I'm a believer in that. Some people aren't, and that's okay. But I believe that you can. But I think it's getting to a point where it's just like, come on, it's 2021, literally. In a couple of hours, you can do better, and you know better. So what is the problem here? What are you going through? Do you need a hug?
Yes.
You need a therapist? Do you need to go to Jules Survivor Sunday Healing? Okay,
yes, they do.
Yes, they do. Send them an invite, please, somebody, because it's getting ridiculous at this point. And I think what a lot of people doing this year, they're like, you know what? I'm not here for this shit anymore.
Yes,
I'm not here for this shit anymore. And it's not even about being canceled. It's just about, unsubscribing to the bullshit.
Exactly.
Like, I don't want to support or do anything. Like, all my Tiffany Pollard New York gifts, I'm not even going to use anymore. And that's so upsetting because she was so funny.
And for me, I'm a person who loved Tiffany and thought Tiffany. And when I saw that, I had to take a step back and like, whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa, wait, you really feel that way? You do know who your core audience is, don't you?
Obviously not.
Yeah, but I'm like you. It's just time to hold people accountable, and it's just like, and like you said, ain't nobody with shit no more. They just ain't with it for 2021. They ain't with it. They're not with it. Yeah, not
Because
really.
there's so many other people that we can love on and support, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
Mm-hmm.
people forget that. It's like, I'm not gonna sit here and, take my time and wait for you to say sorry or whatever the case is. You're gonna do it on your own time. I'm just gonna move on to the next. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna move on to someone like a Gabrielle Union, who's doing really great things for the Black community and Black, queer and trans people. And
Mm-hmm.
people are gonna make mistakes, but I think what they're doing is just absolutely disgusting. And I think that it's gonna take some time for us to go, you know what? Maybe we can talk about it openly. Maybe, you can be forgiven. But at this time, they're literally in my trash folder.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
I want to hit on the topic you talked a little bit back when you talked about the creation of the word. You talked about somebody being an abuser.
Yeah.
In the community, we see so much, especially when it comes to gay Black men, trans, when people stay with people who are abusing them, whether it be verbal and mental. And it's like I tell all my sisters and my brothers, if someone puts their hands on you, they don't love you.
Yeah.
They don't love you. And also, if they put you down, that verbal abuse can be just as hurtful, if not even more than the physical, because it leaves scars in you. It leaves you broken, So talk to some of the people and just tell them, how, they can try to, just overcome that.
It's a process. It's a
Mm-hmm.
process. I think you have to first sit in it
Mm-hmm.
and be honest with yourself and ask yourself serious questions like, am I being mentally abused? Am I being physically abused? You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes when you're so caught up in the love rapture of it all,
Yes.
which I was, this person I knew this was a close friend of mine for almost 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
And, I trusted him. He was a Black trans man. He went by the name Sir Knight or Ace Knight. I don't know. He went by too many names. And that, red flag for abuser, they love to change their name and switch up shit so they, they can go through life like a little fucking snake and go on to their next victim. And it's just, it's disgusting. But I think it took me a minute to really figure out, like, when I started going back to therapy after, and therapy is really important for y'all who can get therapy or just journal and write things down or talk to close loved ones about your situation, because they might see it on the outside looking in, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't looking right. Sometimes we don't even listen to them. But I think you never know in that moment what can happen in your head. Like, oh, I never saw it that way. So maybe I am being, mentally abused. Maybe I am being emotionally abused. So if you can if you're able to have conversations about it and talk about it with other people, I think that definitely helps. If you can get therapy, that definitely helps for sure. And don't be afraid to hold someone accountable for their shit.
Yes.
Don't be afraid to say, you know what? I'm not happy.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yes.
I am not happy in this situation. Be honest with yourself. Know your worth and say, you know what? I'm not happy here. I have to step out and move on. And that's okay. Because I think for especially a lot of Black trans and queer people, is that we hold on to relationships because we feel like we won't never be loved again.
Jim, that's a gem.
We feel like we will never be loved again because we've been through so much hurt. We've been through so much heartbreak. And I think that's why it's so important to take time to love on yourself. This has been a very intense year. Like, I don't take time to love on myself every day. Like, I'm being honest. But I do my best to find little pieces and little moments of joy and happiness, whether that be being on social media, whether that be eating. I'm a Taurus. I love to eat. I mean, I look like, but I do. So I think it's just important to I think that's number one, is just take moments to love on yourself and know that you are worthy. Words of affirmation do help for sure.
Definitely.
But, yeah, like stepping out of that situation with my abuser was hard, calling out someone that I was close friends with for multiple years, 7, 8 years. And knowing that he was hurting other people and not not being like, I spoke to him about it,
Yeah.
but I wasn't as vocal about it as I should have been.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't easy. It was definitely something that was really, really hard to do, but I know I had to do it in order to heal others. I know I had to do it in order to heal myself, honestly. And I think that's, you know, that's really how the word came apart. It was like, it was a healing moment for us. And for us to then do it live in front of everyone, you know, was really, really intense. But after we came out about, you know, the abuse, so many people were like, oh my God, he abused me too. Oh my goodness, he abused me too. And most recently, I got a DM from the girl who he had moved up and left New York with after, you know, Jewel and I. She hit me up and said she's no longer with him because he abused her. So it's a cycle. It's a cycle that doesn't end until you hold them accountable for their bullshit. Like, if we're telling you, like, you know, unfortunately, she didn't put the pieces to the puzzle together early on. But if a group of people are saying, hey, this person is an abuser, and you're in a relationship with them, you really got to, like, look at them like, yeah, we got to get you some help. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you really love them and you feel like they're about to make some sort of change in their life, you really got to hold them accountable and say, listen, you got to get some help or it's over. So yeah, like, yeah, the pathology of abuse needs to be broken. Like, it really does. But it's not going to be something that's overnight. I think, you know, abusers may have to deplatform. You know, I think whatever the survivor is, and I try to really put the word survivor instead of saying the word victim. I try to, they might have to, you know, call them out and say, listen, you abused me in this way, and in order for me to heal, you may have to deplatform for 3 months, 6 months to a year. And if you really are about that life and you're really about healing community, Black, queer, and trans people, so you'll deplatform, no problem. You'll take that time out to heal yourself and get some help and get some therapy, because for it to be like 8, 9 people for a Black trans man that was doing work for trans and queer people, that was crazy to me. That was crazy to me. Like, people, you know, it was just like, it wasn't just, you know, Black, queer, and trans femmes. It was like, you know, other Black trans men coming through, like, yo, like, yeah, you know, he disrespected me in this way, and whatever the case may be. And these are all whispers I heard for a minute, but I was in the mindset of this, like, I'm in love, you know, they're changing, they're writing music about uplifting Black women and femmes and all this other shit. But honey, it was all a mask. It was all a mask. Because the moment that we said, you know, let's call him in and let's hold him accountable, he didn't want to do it.
Right there.
He went on live and said, you know what? I never hurt a Black trans woman or femme in my life. So you're going to tell me you never heard a Black femme ever in your 30 years on this earth? You never heard a Black femme in your life? That blew my mind. After he just said, like, minutes before that he hurt Jewel and he apologized for it. Now, which is the story, homie?
He can't get it right.
Right, just because you apologize for it doesn't mean it didn't, and that it didn't happen ever.
Exactly.
So there's levels to this shit, and I just repeat, everyone, take time to love on yourself.
You got to.
Especially our Black men and mass folk, Black queer mass folk, Black trans mass folk, whatever mass, whatever. Take time to love on yourself, because unfortunately, our parents, sometimes they were too busy doing other things and they couldn't really give us the tools to say, hey, baby, take some time to love on yourself today.
You got
because
to.
you're worthy. Sometimes we didn't get that. It's a generation thing, I think. But I think, you know, as a millennial, I think we're breaking that cycle.
Yes.
We're having those open conversations as millennials to say, you know what, we ain't gonna deal with this fuck shit no more. We're gonna tell our kids, we're gonna love on ourselves, and then make sure our children take time to love on themselves, so it doesn't this pattern doesn't continue.
Exactly.
Like, it's getting crazy.
And the thing about it is, a lot of times also people just, like when you talk about
people staying because they can't find somebody else. Like for me, I know Miss Melly is all smiles, and y'all know I'm the nicest person. I'm dating some hood dudes. I'm hood gangster dudes. And for me, I was treated bad. And I thought that I wouldn't find anybody else. And sometimes you have to love yourself to want more. And I said to myself, you know what? Maybe the type I like ain't the type I need.
Oh.
And I'm gonna tell you why I say that. I can speak of that. Because this was like sometime last year, met somebody totally different than what I ever dated. And it wasn't even me trying to date somebody. It just, hey, how are you? Oh, I think you're nice. Hey, you want to just conversate, whatnot? And it turned into something beautiful. And the thing about it is that this person puts me first so many times.
Yeah, it feels
and
good.
And that was powerful because I didn't experience that in a lot of our other relationships. You know, this person, hey, call me, hey, how you go? You all right? You sure? Baby, you need some? You good? I'm good. I'm good. And that, because for me, the little things mean so much.
Same.
So much. And so I say that to my girls, don't be afraid to, one, as B Hart said, love yourself, and be able to love yourself. But also understand sometimes you got to go out of what your type is to find somebody who will treat you right. Because when I say, babe, right now, I like a year or so ago, I would have said, no, that ain't my type.
You never know. You
and I have something beautiful now that it just blows my mind sometimes. And I just be like, thank you, God, for allowing me to see this and take a chance.
Right.
And that was just so powerful. So you have to love yourself and just take that chance.
And put yourself first.
Yes.
I tell myself at all times, because if you can't love yourself, how the fuck you gonna love somebody else? Come on, RuPaul. That was a gem he gave us.
Yes, it was. Oh my God, that was so much. Woo, goodness. In 10 years, where do you see B Hart Snipes?
Surviving the coronavirus. Okay, taking over the world, honey. I honestly, I see myself happy. I see myself living in my truth. And yeah, I think that's really what I see. I mean, of course, you know, I want to continue just doing the work. And when I say doing the work, I mean literally inspiring others to just be themselves, literally making opportunities for other Black and queer people to be seen, be heard, behind the scenes when it comes to the entertainment world. I think we have a long way to go in Hollywood, and I want to be a part of that movement and that change. So I see that for myself, but I'm doing my best not to put too much pressure on myself, because this year has taught me, honey, you need to sit your ass down and take a beat.
Me too.
But it's tough for me because I'm very much an extrovert, but this year has taught me to be an introvert, which is a struggle for me, because you know I was giving New York socialite, honey, and New York said, no, you're not.
Not this year. Not this year.
Not this year. You're gonna sit your ass down. You're gonna talk to the people. You're gonna do these Instagram lives. You're gonna sit your ass down. But it really taught me a lot. So in 10 years, I really just honestly just want happiness. I want stability. I want a peace of mind. And I see that for myself. I definitely want children. And when I say children, maybe like 1 or 2, and maybe like a dog.
Yeah.
So I definitely see that in my future for sure. What about you? What do you see yourself in 10 years?
I see myself, I definitely want kids. I see myself, I want to get to a level to be able to provide opportunity for my people. I want to see my people be able to take care of themselves and not feel like they have to be in a position where they have to say, I have to do this because the cisgender person is going to like that. or so I want them to be. I want my queens, my trans women. I want my queens to just know their worth, live it out. I want to see 4 or 5 TV shows with non-binary and gay people, and just be like, oh, that's just the norm now.
Yeah.
That's what I want to be the norm. I thank God for Pose so much, but why is it that Pose is the only show like that we have?
Timing.
Yeah.
You know, the journey.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we always want to see more, and I feel like we actually have a lot more representation than we think we do, and it's all about just the power dynamic of this country and how white cis men especially, they have that power dynamic above, you know, over us.
Sure.
And it's up to certain ones to kind of use it in the way that it should be used when it comes to their privilege. Ryan Murphy used his privilege in the way that it should be used.
Really big.
Right. And say, you know what? I'm tired of creating shows centered around white people.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a beat and do something different. And, I give him his snaps for that. Because he didn't have to do that. He could have went on and created more shit about white, gay men in Chelsea. You know what I'm saying? Or singing like a Glee song or whatever the case is. But he said, you know what? We're going to do something different. I give him his snaps for that because it then opened so many opportunities for me as a non-binary actor to say, you know what? I can do this. Like, I can really step into certain situations and demand what I need, you know what I'm saying? And not think about it too much. Like, no, I am a Black, trans, non-binary femme, and I deserve respect. I deserve to walk into a room, and when I say, don't address the room as you guys, I mean that.
Yes.
Because I'm in the room. I don't know about anyone else. It might work for y'all, but it doesn't work for me. Because we have to start being more inclusive. We have to start being more diverse. The world does not look like this. You know what I'm saying? The world does not look like white folks running around ruling shit. You know, that's not reality. Reality is we're a melting pot here. And we have to talk about history. We have to talk about the struggles of everything. And, so I give flowers to the BTFA collective, especially because we're over there, highlighting so many different Black trans women and femmes in the arts. And honey, the people I found on social media, I was like, I didn't know all these music artists exist, all these artists exist, all these creatives that are doing amazing work, like really dope work. Like they can be at the Grammys, they can be on Billboard and charting at #1 because they're that talented. We are magic. We are magic. And unfortunately, sometimes we, not have to wait around because we shouldn't be waiting. We should always just work on our craft. But sometimes we may need a helping hand from a white person in this entertainment industry to say, you know what? I see you. I want to help you out. I want to give you an opportunity. I want to give you a chance. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think as long as they do it in a respectful way and they're not using you in all the wrong ways. And I think that all just goes back to knowing who you are and knowing your power. Just so you're not being bamboozled out here in these streets and looking crazy, because that ain't hot either. And so I always tell people, like, know your worth, know who you are, know what you want, know what you worked hard for to get where you are. Don't let anyone belittle you. Make you feel less than the queen that you are. But yeah, and be patient. Oh my goodness, be patient. Be patient.
You got to.
It's gonna come. It's going to come in time, and just like like you said, we don't know why Pose is like the only one. It's gonna take time, but I know it's coming. I know that we're gonna shake the industry like it's never been shaken before. Okay, like we're really out here. Like, you know what? If you don't want to give us the opportunity, we're gonna do that. We're gonna make it ourselves. We're gonna do it our way, and we're gonna have we're gonna have our own award shows, and we're gonna give each other our flowers because sometimes at the end of the day, that's all we got.
That's all you got. That's all we got.
So, I'm looking forward to being in this journey, especially with the BTFA collective and other Black, queer, and trans organizations to go, you know what? They're not going to give us the opportunity. We're going to do it ourselves. Just like my boy Nunu on here, like he was like, I'm going to create reality shows centered around Black, queer, and trans people because we're not seeing it. And he was the first to do it on YouTube.
Shout out Nunu. I've been following Nunu for years. I know about Nunu. I know him all the
Nunu's the blueprint, honey. Okay, he the Black print.
I've been following Nunu for years. Oh, years.
Okay, shout out to the award-winning season 3 of The Circle. Okay.
Yes. One more. There's one more thing I want to ask you about before you leave. I noticed that this year, with so much Black trans spotlight being put on Black trans lives and gay and queer Black people, I said this before in one of my videos. I said people get upset when a cisgender Black man quits a part because he doesn't want to kiss a man being gay, or he doesn't want to kiss a trans woman. And my biggest issue I have with that, I say, to me, there shouldn't be any problem, because if it's a gay Black role, hire a gay Black male actor. If it's a Black trans woman, hire a Black trans woman. Why are we hiring cisgender people when we have so many awesome, great trans and Black and queer non-binary actors and actresses that can play those parts?
Right. Because I honestly feel like there's a lot of white people out there that are just greedy, selfish, and they're living in their privilege, and they don't want to hand it over. They don't want to hand it over. And even sometimes, like, Black people do it too. Black cis people do it too. And you're just like, baby, you can be a part of the change. You can be a part of a movement and say, you know what? I'm not here. I'm not willing to do this, but maybe we can find someone else who can. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't feel comfortable doing this. Let's find someone. Let's take the time, because we're here. Non-binary, queer, trans, Black people are here. You know what I'm saying? We're acting. We're doing our best to get booked, and we are here. And y'all, I think a lot of cis people, especially cis white people in Hollywood, they're just lazy. They're lazy. They're selfish, and they don't want to do the work. They're just looking for that name, that title that's going to make them money. But you can have that, but don't have them be the primary role of playing an experience that they don't know nothing about.
That right there.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you really want a role that's authentic, then have someone play it that's queer or trans. It's really that easy. It's not even that hard. I think they just want to have it the way they want to have it, and they want to be like, oh, look at Halle Berry, a Black cis woman playing a trans man. Oh, my mind is blown. Yeah. Baby, no, that is not the way you do it. That's not the way you do it. No.
Black male trans.
Like, it just doesn't, and it doesn't even make any sense. Like, come on, like, stop giving awards and roses to people, especially cis people, who are playing these queer and trans roles. Like, when there's so many of us that could, do those parts. And I think, from another angle, there's a lot of trans people that want to play cis roles, but you have to look at who's less marginalized here.
Exactly.
You have to look at who's being less marginalized here, and that's Black, queer, and trans people. We need roles. We need opportunities. So give it to us. Give us a chance to play these roles. Like, if Ryan Murphy, like, I just go back to Ryan Murphy. If Ryan Murphy didn't give Stephen Canales and Janet Mock an opportunity to to write and produce and create, then we wouldn't have I know MJ was doing great things, and Dominique was doing great things. Like, they were all doing great things, but this platform is just, it was bigger, it was different, it was something that we just never seen before.
Everyone is in it because of that.
Right.
Yep.
So I mean, like, it's like, come on. So I'm happy that we're also living in a world right now with social media that people are saying, you know what, that's not cool. Exactly. That's not cool. So something has to change. Like, so when Halle Berry was like thinking about playing a Black trans man, the world said, hold up, sister. Hold up.
And I love
Very
that.
lately.
I love too.
Yeah, okay, and she
Yeah.
said, you know what? You're
Mm-hmm.
right.
Mm-hmm.
That's not fucking cool, because we've seen so many people, so many white cis people
Mm-hmm.
do it for such a long time on
Yes.
film and on television, and this shit ain't cute. It's
Yeah.
not hot. So like, just give people the opportunity and stop having us on these TV shows to play these like stereotypical roles or whatever the case may be. Like, I would love to see a black trans woman like doctor or a
Yeah.
dentist, or even back in the day, like when we were slaves. I'm not saying I want to see another slave film because I'm tired of
Yeah.
that. No shade, but
Yeah.
like, can we be a part of that journey and that story, because we did exist. People think we just popped up in the 70s and 80s,
Yes.
in the AIDS epidemic. Like, no, like, we've always been here.
Mm-hmm.
So put us in your stories. It really doesn't take that much work to say, what, I want to cast a non-binary or trans or queer black person and put them in this position, because they are a part of history. They are part of the world, and
Yes.
representation matters. The more representation and inclusivity that you have a part of your project, that means the more views, the more sharing, and which equivalates to more money.
Exactly. Yes.
Hello, we've seen it so many times happen. We've seen it with Black Panther, how black people will come out and support work, and not even just black people. Other people will
Everybody.
come out and just say, you know what? I want to see a story about something different.
Yes.
I want to see it, and we have to also remind ourselves to support each other
Yes.
as
Because
black, queer, and trans people, because sometimes we be forgetting. Like, y'all need to tune in to Pose on Netflix. Get the views up, y'all. Thank you.
and shout out to Nickelodeon. I don't know if you've heard this, but Nickelodeon is casting for a new show, and they're specifically, I believe, looking for a lead that is either trans or non-binary.
Period. We,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
people want to see more. They want to hear different stories. They want to sit at home, especially now, and learn about different things. I really do believe that. I feel like people are just in a different mindset right now, and they're a little bit more open-minded to change and evolution. So I'm here for that. Let's humanize trans people, because at the end of the day, we are human, and we deserve to be seen, and we deserve to be heard, and not just on social media platforms. We deserve to be seen all over the place.
We do. We do. Well, I know you got to go, but I just want to say thank you so much for blessing my show. This is something that I created, and I just started Monday, and I just said to myself, I'm not going to wait for anybody else. I said, I don't care if I got to go by myself. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this every Monday, Friday, and I'm just going to grind, as they say, until the wheels fall off the bus. And that's what we're going to do. And I thank you so much for the interview. Keep shining. Keep doing you. And definitely, we got to have you back on sometime. We got to, definitely.
Oh, absolutely. And I thank you for doing this. I thank you for being truthful, for being honest with yourself and loving on yourself and pushing yourself and saying, you know what, like, I'm going to do this show. I'm going to get it done. I think it takes so much love on yourself to say, you know what, I'm going to push myself and I'm going to do it. And, for hitting me up, thank you for the opportunity. It's like, I was like, you know what, something in my heart said, you know what, do this.
Thank you.
Do this. We're a community, we're a family at the end of the day, especially if you're another especially as a black trans woman, and a femme, it's like, it's important to support one another. Because we're honestly all in this together, no matter how we may be listed in the algorithm of social media. We're all in this together, and we're all in this for the fight, for change and inclusivity and respect and love. And I just want to say I love you, Queen, and I thank you, and push forward in your greatness. You are a beautiful black queen. Okay, I am jealous of that shade of melanin. I'm putting it out there. Okay.
I really love you. Have a wonderful new year, everything. And you are just destined for so much. And thank you for blessing my platform. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you, and Happy New Year.
New Year. Thank you so much.
Thank you, love.
Bye.
Later, everyone.
Oh, wow. That was such a... Woo, we gave gems on that. Okay. Thank you guys so much for who supported this episode. This is episode number 4. Tomorrow we will be back with episode number 5. That will be the first episode of New Year. I thank you for everybody who supported me on this journey. Thank you for everybody who likes and shared. Thank you because your love and your support, it's what helps to keep me going on, okay? I love you so much, my loves. Bye. Oh, I didn't hit the button wrong. My bad, y'all.